He's not the biggest. He was never the strongest. He was never the fastest. He was overlooked in the 6th round.
This is the draft report on you. Tom Brady, poor build, skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength, and gets knocked down easily.
That kind of gets me fired up because I'm thinking, what the hell do these people know?
Boy, a lot of people doubted this quarterback, but when you have 12, you have to believe.
Brady's back! That's your quarterback!
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title.
Bucks are the Super Bowl champs.
You're looking at the greatest right there.
This ballroom as one of the most accomplished athletes of the past 2 decades, with 19 division titles, 10 world championships. He has won 6 world championships with the New England Patriots, as well as 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. More than any other quarterback in the NFL history. Please get on your feet, raise your glasses, and make some noise in welcoming to the DCAT Stadium 7-time world champion, Mr. Tom Brady!
Thank you. How you guys doing tonight?
Hi.
Hi.
Are you nervous?
Well, not for a crowd that's been here with cocktails for a couple hours. I feel like I could probably say whatever I want. It'll be pretty cool.
I bet you didn't realize a bunch of pharma geeks would party this hard. Few Patriot fans, and so thank you for taking the time to join us.
Look at us coming to another city. I always think when I come to New York City, I got booed so many times. So this actually feels pretty good.
We love you, Tom.
I never got booed from the Giants fans. They always figured out a way to like me because they beat us a couple times. The Jets fans were a little bit different. But I love having the Pats fan represent. I heard a few Tampa fans out there too.
So now, Tom, taking a quote out of your many inspirational speeches. Let's effing do this.
Let's fucking go. You can say it. We're all adults here.
So let's start out with some fun stuff. When you became eligible for the NFL draft in 2000, what were your first thoughts to what team you would hope to be selected by? And with each passing round, when you were not picked, what was the self-talk? What's a Tom Brady, get in my head, talk to talk, Tom Brady self-talk look like?
You're starting at kind of a low point.
Yeah.
Which I guess is pretty good if we're
much
trying.
Lower.
That's right. If we're trying to build to a certain point, I think starting at the low point is pretty good. It was a very unique journey that I had to get to the NFL, and I was just such a typical American kid that loved playing sports, and I loved being a part of teams, and I loved going out there trying to be good in school, even though I was pretty mediocre through high school and college, because I thought I was going to be a pro athlete, where my high school counselor certainly didn't think so. But I got this opportunity to kind of evolve and grow in high school. I got decently recruited to college and did a pretty good job at the University of Michigan, and I thought, go blue. And I thought that I would actually, in my own naive way, be I should be a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick in the NFL. And there was just a lot of other people didn't quite see it that way. I thought that way. I think my mom and dad thought that way. Maybe my agent, and that was about it. So the NFL draft came along in April of 2000, and all these rounds had gone by, and his first round went by. I knew it would be a first round pick. I ran a 5.28 40 which then kind of disqualifies you from the first round. If there was a general manager that picked me in the first round running 5.2840, he probably would have been fired the next day. So I obviously wasn't very fast, but there was a lot of other things that I was probably pretty decent at. And ultimately, I got picked by the Patriots in the 6th round to a really amazing organization that was a little bit of a sleeping giant based on the people that we had there. And we had a great owner. We obviously had Coach Belichick in his first year, but we had a great group of players and guys that really drove the new culture of what we were trying to accomplish, which was ultimately win a championship. So I came from this college program that was so built around the team. And there was a famous coach at the University of Michigan, Bo Schembechler, who would always say, the team, the team, the team. And I naturally went into pro football thinking, well, that's what it's about. It's about the team. And pro sports are not very much about the team. On good teams, it's about the team. But on bad teams, it's about the individuals and their own kind of self-serving agendas, which can get a bit challenging. But I really wanted to bring this team-first attitude to the Patriots when I got drafted 199. And again, when you're drafted 199, there's no guarantees. Even if you're drafted in the NFL, it doesn't mean you're going to make the team. And when I started at the Patriots, I was the 4th quarterback on the depth chart. Drew Bledsoe was the 1st quarterback. He was an incredible player, mentor of mine. John Freese, he was a great player for Seattle and then ultimately got to the Patriots, and I was behind him. He was a veteran. And then Michael Bishop, who was another young player. So I was the 4th quarterback on the depth chart when I started with the Patriots. And I called my agent 2 weeks before final cuts. And he's, of course, not sure if I'm going to make the team or not. And I was like, hey, I really want to buy a house here. And he's like, dude, the cuts aren't for 2 weeks. I'm like, the cuts? What are you talking about? I'm making this team. Like, why would they get rid of me? And he's like, let's just wait until they figure out who's on the final roster. And I think there was a little bit of that really naive confidence that I had in myself that based on what I had experienced in high school and the kind of work that I needed to put in order to become a good high school player, and then the work that I needed to put in to be a good college player, really allowed me to have this confidence in myself that regardless of the situation I was going to be in, I was going to figure out a way to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And I was very blessed, again, to come across so many amazing people in my life through elementary school, through high school, through college, and even in my pro career that allowed me to live my dream as an athlete. And it was, thank you. And I would say, though, the greatest part about me playing and doing something I loved and having this great career, the winning championships were great, but the best part about playing were all the meaningful relationships that I had over a long period of time. And I was on a phone call yesterday with one of my teammates, Teddy Bruschi. We spoke for an hour. And it's like that all the time. I have so many people that call me that they're a part of my life. I'm a part of their life. We've seen each other probably a lot like you guys in your business. You have people that you're really tight with. You worked hard with them. You've achieved great success in what you've done. You've probably dealt with a lot of adversity in what you've done. You've overcome difficult odds, and at times you've made it. You've been able to share that success with all the people along the way that have helped you in your career. And I feel so blessed to have done what I did for 23 years. I was a part of winning teams, a few losing years, but when I look at it in total, I feel like I was the luckiest guy in the world to play a great sport of football, to play a great sport of football, and to impact a lot of communities in positive ways. So it was pretty special. And now I get to be here tonight with you guys, chilling in New York City, and I get to tell some pretty fun stories about part of that journey.
That's a great kickoff. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sadly, we know that it is. Playing at the highest level, the emotions, the passion, all of these things are just rolling through your head. No way of getting around that emotionality.
Yeah.
How were you able to harness all these emotions so that you're just driving it? No crying.
I cried a lot in football. Yeah, I cried a lot.
Because you hurt or just because?
Sadness, joy, I all be between injury. But I feel like we are emotional beings. And I think when you're in that competitive environment, it's real. We're not actors. Like, this is really us. And I think what I appreciate about being out there is what you saw on the field from myself and from a lot of other teammates, from a lot of other guys that I watched. That really is them. There's no faking it. You're out there, all your emotions are on your sleeve. And I felt like emotions drive us, they bring us energy. I had to get to a very angry place when I played. And that was what really, there was almost like a Jekyll and Hyde, because there's so many people that say, God, you're so competitive. I'm like, yeah, because I want to kill the people out there. But at the same time, I knew when I had to flip that switch off and go back and be a normal human being again. But I feel like the emotional part was something that the only way to maximize our true potential is to be an emotional being. You can't be a stoic out there on the field. There's parts of you which physically, yeah, you need to have the ability to play at a high level. In all sports, certainly professional sport. Mentally, you have to have the ability to understand what your job is and what needs to be done on every play to be successful. But emotionally, you're in control of your emotions. And you need to figure out a way to be in control of your emotions. So there were parts where the emotions come out because there's just a deep level of caring. You care so much about what you're trying to accomplish. You care so much about the people that have supported you in your journey. When I would take the field, I would always look up and point at my family and see my kids up there and see my parents and everyone in my family that was there to cheer me on. I knew that I was representing them every time that I took the field. I was representing my family. I was representing our community. There's a lot of emotion that goes to that. There's a lot of people along the way that sacrificed a lot of things that allowed all of us as individuals to get out there and do something that we love to do. So for me, they had to be emotional. And when you win the games, there was a lot of emotion. When you lose the game, there was a lot of emotion. I would be exhausted on the way home. There was, a physical element to the game that I was tired, but there was an emotional component where we felt like all of our energy was expended out there because it meant so much to all of us. We all put a lot of time into it, just like, again, you guys put a lot of time into what you do. So when you do have those wins, they should be joyful. When you do lose, it sucks. And every part of it sucks. And you don't want to experience that feeling again. And the only thing you do about it is to lick the wounds, regroup, live to fight another day, get up the next day, and try to attack the day with the same level of resilience that's needed when you're in a really challenging profession. I know there's 110,000 people out there ready to cheer for us on the weekend. I want to be able to give my team the best chance to win. And that meant me showing up every day, trying to be the best I could be for my teammates. And the one thing about team sports, if you don't give your team the best chance to win, then someone else should play. So I really felt like through that college experience, I learned how to be a real competitor. And I really learned how to deal with things that didn't go my way. Sometimes I felt like I wasn't getting all the opportunities that I deserved in college. And I was had a little bit of a victim mentality that the coach didn't like me, the coach didn't give me the chance. And there was a sports psychologist that came into my life in my sophomore year. His name was Greg Harden. He was a great mentor of mine. And he called me into his office, and he worked with a lot of other great athletes at the school. And he kind of found me, and he said, I want you to start coming in, and we're gonna meet every Tuesday. So I'd go in and meet with Greg, and he'd be like, what's going on? I'd be like, well, these other guys, I'm 6th on the depth chart, and I'm 5th, and these other guys ahead of me, they're getting more reps, and when the coach puts me in, he puts me at the end, and I'm with guys that aren't the best players, and they're not blocking me, and he goes, just shut up. And he says, why don't you just worry about what the F you can do? And why don't you start
approaching every time the coach puts you in as if he was putting you in at the stadium against Ohio State? Why don't you run on the field with the same level of enthusiasm and with the same level of competitiveness that you would take to the field on Saturday afternoon? And he said, quit bitching about what the number one guy's getting. Quit bitching about what the number two guy's getting. Just worry about the reps you get. So the coach would put me in for, let's say, 2 or 3 reps, and the other guys were getting 20. And I started running in there and be like, all right, fellas, here we go. You know, we can go as a big play. Come on. And these guys were like, Tommy, it's practice. And I didn't give a shit because I had talked with Greg on Tuesday, and he said that's what to do. So that's what I was going to do. So the players, naturally, they were more amped up. So when I would get in the huddle, I was trying to make things happen. I was, come on, this is what we got to do here. This is what we got to do. And naturally, when the energy of the team and the energy of that huddle got better, the plays looked better. The intensity was more. And the coaches started to like what they saw. So instead of getting 2 or 3 reps, as the weeks went on, I was getting 4 and 5. And it got better. And I got 7 or 8. And it went on. And I got 10 and 12. And I got 15. And then ultimately, I was the one getting 20 reps. And I was the one that was in there with the line that was blocking good and the receivers that could run routes. So I felt like I had earned that opportunity through a different attitude and a different approach. And it was really because someone came into my life at the right time that had to put some different perspective into my life that I had. I had an opportunity because I was at that school. Maybe it wasn't the one that I wanted at the beginning, but I had to work my ass off to get the opportunity when it presented itself in front of me. And it presented itself in front of me in my 4th year when we won the national championship in my 3rd year, and I had an opportunity to start. And I had to compete my ass off still. And I had to compete my ass off with a younger player, but I knew how to compete because I had been doing that for 3 years. And again, I competed really hard in that 4th and 5th year in college when nothing was guaranteed. There were no entitlements. And all my teammates saw me the 1st year, the 2nd year, the 3rd year. And they go, okay, it means a lot to him. He shows up every day. He cares about his teammates. He doesn't bitch and whine and complain when he doesn't get the opportunities that maybe he deserves. And when he gets in there in his 4th and 5th year, my teammates were really behind me. So they named me captain, which was, again, just this amazing accomplishment because they really believed in me. And we had a pretty successful couple years. We won my final college game. We were down 14 points to Alabama in the 4th quarter. We came back and we tied the game with under 2 minutes left. And we beat them in overtime. And that was my final college career. I got named MVP of the team that year. And it was just a magical way to end my college career. And what did I learn from those experiences of adversity was I really learned how to deal with a lot of failures when things didn't go right. And I had to deal with things when they did go right too, because I had some success in college as well. But I realized that whether it was success or failure, the one constant was I had to continue to bring my work ethic and a positive energy and enthusiasm to everything that I did.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. So the good part is when I went to college, when I left college and I went to the pros, maybe I couldn't run very fast, but I knew how to compete. And I knew that if I wanted to be the best, I had to beat the best. And I found a way to do that in college. And my challenge was, how do I do that at the pro level as well? So my 1st year as the 4th quarterback, I sat on the bench. I barely got to play. I threw 3 passes my rookie year in the pros. But every Friday morning, the games are on Sunday, we practice on Friday. I called the strength and conditioning coach, and I was behind a lot of these guys physically. And I said, hey man, Coach Wojcik, you and we're meeting on Friday mornings at 6 a.m. We're doing workouts, we're doing all the training because I got to make up some ground. So I'd meet with them at 6 a.m. on Fridays, and we do an hour and a half workout before our 7:30 team meeting, and I'd go out and practice with the team at 11 o'clock. And I felt like, okay, I'm gaining ground, and I'm gaining ground on the competition. So going into my 2nd year, I competed really hard with a free agent they brought in named Damon Heward. And again, not many people were thinking that I was going to make a big impact. But you know who noticed? All my teammates. They had saw all the work that I did my rookie year. They had saw all the work that I put in the offseason going into my second year. And again, like I said, I knew how to compete. And I competed in that second training camp in my pro career at the Patriots. And a lot of guys, a lot of my teammates came up to me and said, hey man, you made a lot of improvements. You just keep it up. You just stay ready. And you never know when you're going to get your opportunity in life. And mine came in my second game of my second season. Unfortunately, came at the expense of the starting quarterback, Drew Bledsoe's injury. But I always felt, and I told my teammates this, if the coach puts me in, he's never going to take me out. And fortunately, 22 years later, they never took me out. So I say that all because there's just different context to everybody in here has different stories. And I'm sure everyone in here wasn't a first round pick either. And I'm sure everyone in here has had some great successes they've shared with people that they care deeply about. And I'm sure you guys have overcome a lot of shitty things too that haven't quite gone the way that you wanted either. And I would say the greatest things as I look back and reflect on my life were probably the things that didn't go the way that I really wanted them to go. But because of those moments, I learned the most. And I learned the most about who I am. I learned most about the people that were surrounding me. And I learned that the adversity and the challenges that you face help you grow the most. Sometimes you don't know you need that growth. But when you take some time away from it and you realize, you reflect back, you realize, I'm grateful that I went through it, because you wouldn't be the person you are today sitting in this room if you hadn't overcome all those things.
Absolutely. Advice to them to stay in the game. What does that look like?
So really, I think that the one thing about life is everybody gets to create their own path and their own journey. I think for me, part of the longevity part was I had that chip on my shoulder because I was, a freshman in high school that was a backup quarterback my freshman year and didn't really play until my sophomore year and was recruited pretty lightly getting to college, and then was 7th at Michigan, was 4th at the Patriots. When I did prove everybody wrong, I felt like I want to run up the score and prove everybody wrong. And I think everyone, the reference would be you had a chip on your shoulder. And you're damn right I had a chip on my shoulder. Because there wasn't a lot of people standing in your corner when things weren't going well. And then when things did go well, there's a lot of people that wanted to jump on the bandwagon. But for me, I felt like, I'm going to try to keep proving them wrong. And not only because I love playing football, but because there was something in me that continued this internal motivation that I wanted to go out there and continue to play, do what I love to do for as long as I could do it. And one of my other great mentors came into my life, a guy named Alex Guerrero, who's one of my best friends, like a brother to me, and he taught me about how to take care of my body so that you can go out there and you can do what you love to do. You can play football and not be injured all the time. You can take a preventative style approach to your own training so that I can get better every off season and not miss practices during the season. So I began to look at my career, and when I got about 10 years in, I decided I want to play till I'm 45 years old. And I remember going into Coach Belichick, and he said, Tom, basically after 36, 37, there's no success at quarterback. And the only guy who's really done it's John Elway. And he was 37 and 38 when he won 2 Super Bowls. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I really didn't. And
because of the people that were around me and the resources that I had to take care of myself, I knew that I saw myself getting better as I got older because I was training better, I was eating better, I was hydrating better, I was recovering better. I saw all these improvements that I was making. And year after year, I was getting stronger and I was getting a little bit faster, not much faster, but I wasn't losing my speed. But I could make all the throws, I could make all the reads. So I had this, always I would say, a really strong mental component to my game, but physically I needed to continue to do the right things. So when Coach Belichick said, you know, look, 37, 38, that's basically it. Guess who else I wanted to prove wrong? I wanted to prove him wrong. You know, I loved him as my coach, and he motivated me in so many ways, but when you hear those things, and I look where I came from, and I look where I started, and I said, no one gave me a chance as a freshman in high school. No one gave me a chance as a freshman in college. When I was the fourth quarterback at the Patriots, nobody gave me a chance. Now here I am, and now you're telling me that I don't have a chance to play beyond 37 or 38 years old? Like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. And ended up winning three Super Bowls beyond the age of 38. So I think the point for that is, man, there should be no limitations on what we think we can accomplish. And for all the parents out there, which I know there's a lot, I would say the best advice my parents ever gave me was they supported me 100% in every single thing that I did. And when I said that I want to go to college and be to Michigan, they said, absolutely, you're going to be great. And when I said, you know, I'm going to play pro football, and I didn't really have a backup plan beyond that, they were 100% on board. And they were 100% supportive of every single thing I did. So don't ever limit your children in their own mind and ability what they think they can accomplish. Because sometimes we want to protect our children from disappointment, but at the same time, if we put boundaries on our own kids and what they think they can accomplish, they probably won't ever accomplish those things. But if it's an unlimited possibility, they're going to surprise the shit out of all of us, just like I did. That day, my kids learned a very valuable lesson, and you know, so in that way, it was a successful day nonetheless.
Fantastic. So, we're running out of time, but I have one more favor to ask of you.
Yeah, what's up?
DCAT tradition, selfie. Would you please take one with me and all my friends out here?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tom, I want to thank you so very, very much.
Thank you,
I was
Tom.
looking for the rings.
I didn't break.
But we got matching watches.
Oh, that girl?
Check that out.
Good choice.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Brady. We want to see you all at the Speaks. Head out to party. Have a great evening, and thank you for an amazing, amazing week.
Thank you. Bye now. Take care.
Thank you.